Hello there. I am back with my season 8 episode 2 of Basketball Wives LA review. And this is going to be a short one because I'm kind of over this show. I don't know why I keep watching, but I keep watching. I like Jennifer. She's basically the only reason I watch, and now I want to see how this thing with Cece and Kristen and their family plays out. But let's start with Evelyn because the show opens up with her and her daughter, if I'm not mistaken, and they're talking about Jennifer, I guess. So they are really like trying to ride this Jennifer storyline till the wheels fall off, even though the wheels fell off like last season. Um More or less, like perhaps they should have dedicated no more than like one or two episodes to this. But it seems like they keep kind of trying to like, I don't know, like pick things with Jennifer. Um like create conflict that doesn't have to be there. Like they could just ignore her, or Shawnee could have just like left her off this season and everything would have been fine. But she's on, and it's just, to me, the fact that she had to have obviously been invited to film and to have consented to film, yet they're acting like they don't want to talk to her. Like, I don't know, to me that kind of like breaks the, what is it, the fourth wall, or like eliminates the reality factor. Because like I know that it's a scripted show, like reality shows are scripted, whatever, but like this is just like toying, like it's insulting our intelligence. Because like it just doesn't make sense in real life that someone would be invited to a place and then everyone acts like they don't want to talk to her, or they're shocked that she's there, or that she shows up when she's being paid to show up. And as the executive producer, you kind of have to like know that she's going to be there and probably even consent to it to some degree, whatever degree that she has control over the cast. um that Shawnee has control over the cast. But anyway, so I mean, whatever. Now here's what is there two. Okay, so the biggest elephant in the room to me about the Evelyn and Jennifer conflict is they're acting like Jen didn't say these things when she and Evelyn were not getting along, and Jennifer had no plans of ever reconciling with her because Evelyn was horrible to her. Which leads me to the second weird thing, that everyone is just suddenly acting as if it never existed. Um First of all, Evelyn started the dispute between her and Jen because she didn't like how Jen felt about Ocho Cinco, and that was pretty much it. Meanwhile, Evelyn is now saying, "Oh, well, your mother dying isn't an excuse to be a jerk." However, Evelyn was an even bigger jerk to Jen for over much less. Like, no one died. She was dating a new dude, and Jen was like, "Be careful." And she couldn't handle that. Like, so it's kind of like, why, how not to mention the fact that a lot of people commented on it, like there was no reason for Evelyn to bring Jennifer's mother into, well, that happens later, I guess. But um or did that happen? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I like, we're already on episode 3 and I've watched that. But okay, so like I'm gonna try to like back it up to the beginning. So like all right, so that was point one, when Jen said what she said allegedly and why she said it. But point two is, she didn't, I mean, unless something was edited out, she didn't say anything that was an insult to Shanice, really. It was a direct insult to Evelyn for not being an attentive mother and looking after her household. And that to me is why Evelyn is more offended. Like, it just not does not make sense to me that Evelyn is filming scenes with Jackie and they're getting along, and Jackie called her daughter a whole build-a-whore. But she has a problem with Jen saying that Shanice held down the household while Evelyn was out. Like, that's not, if anything, that's saying that Shanice was mature enough to, like, take care of the home, even though she shouldn't have had to. But yeah, Evelyn is spinning this, "Oh my God, you said XYZ about my baby." No, she didn't. But Jackie did, and you're fine with her. So none of that makes sense to me. Anyway, And furthermore, like if they agreed to squash everything they both said about each other during the time they were just not getting along and had no plans of ever getting along again, then this should stay in the past too. Um anyway, so on from that, like it's equally ridiculous, or maybe not equally, but almost as ridiculous. That everyone is just like, oh my goodness, Jen, like you showed up and like acted a certain way at Shawnee's event. It's not as if Jen walked into the event and just like completely acted a fool, or as if she even knew what was being said. Which to me, at the nail salon scene, she should have like asked, well, like, Kristen, how was my comment I made to you in privacy repeated at this party? But that was left out. So we don't know. And I mean, I think it's a little bit big of her to just say, well, it wasn't like CNN breaking news, and to cut Kristen, I guess, who's supposedly her friend, some slack. Or maybe she didn't notice, or maybe it's just scripted that way, whatever. But if it were me, my first question would be, well, how do they know what I said, Kristen? um, and then I would follow up with, it's not breaking news. Everyone knew that, her husband was out in the streets or whatever. But yeah, so that scene also kind of didn't make sense. And obviously I like Jen. So maybe I don't think I'm that biased though, but because to me, like none of this stuff is logical. Like last season, I think she looked kind of silly, and like the whole not being able to pull up your receipts thing got very tired. But this season, it's like, well, yeah, everyone is kind of ganging up on her in light of all the other stuff that people have done in this group to each other, and now like they're reconciled, or at one point they did, or whatever. Also, I don't like how Tammy is able to come and go and just like gets off scot free. No one brings up her part in this. Um, so then what happens? The OG, and I think OG is doing like it's odd. When I look at comments online about this show, I feel like most people, like, am I the only one who thought that Cece was a little suspect? Like, she has shifty eyes. Whenever someone asks her a question, she stutters and well, blah blah blah, and like her lips are even quivering at the point where OG asked her if she told Kristen what she's been saying to her, like I guess about Byron's dad or whatever. Um, she's always been like that. I notice it now more than I did in the previous season. Because I do believe Kristen was wrong for siding with Evelyn and like kikiing behind Cece's back about like the happy ending thing. But now, like in light of everything, it's kind of like, well, Cece has like never been innocent. She's always double talking and saying something to this one, but then doesn't keep the same energy when the person is there and they're to that person's face, and like got other people repeating what she's telling them. That dates back to season one. And that was Kristen's gripe with her, that she's one person when they're together, but she doesn't stand up for herself in front of Jen and Evelyn and changes the story to, oh, we don't have a problem, but we'll talk crap about them behind their backs. Not that they weren't mean girling her. I mean, they were, I think. But like, I'm noticing a pattern with Cece, and it really comes out this episode, or no, well, the next episode. Um, but yeah, so OG is like alluding. I think she was extremely messy on the call with Malaysia, the FaceTime, when she's like, well, there's something I heard, and it's not for me to say. Like, why are you even bringing it up if you've heard it and it's not for you to say? Like, just doing way too much. So, beyond that, the crystal, I'm just gonna skip because like honestly, I tried to rewatch the episode to remember what happened, and I just couldn't watch the whole thing again. So oh, Tammy, no one cares about your marriage, Tammy. I'm just not a fan. Tammy's another one that I'm just kind of like, I don't really see what people see in her. Like, yeah, she's kind of like had her glow up from season one, but she's making a way bigger deal of this marriage than she should, especially in light of how she's been in everyone's business and like asking all the questions and whatnot and this and that in prior seasons, and like kind of like the pot stir, and yeah, like she's been with Reggie, like, who cares if they got married or not? Like, it just doing way too much by, like, not wearing her ring. And oh my God, I don't want to tell them because they might not be happy for me. Like, why do you care? Honestly, you pass yourself off as this person that, like, is around, but you don't care or whatever. But, like, you won't even say that you got married because you, are worried that they won't be happy for you. Like, none of that even makes sense to me. The fact that she got married without her daughters, I think, is just kind of trifling, whatever, especially since they wanted to be there. Um, yeah, so I still think her relationship with Reggie is a bit odd, but it might be genuine, like, whatever, that's her. Great. I can't really say too much about that. Um, yeah, so now the crystal party. Yeah, like, Evelyn obviously did way too much. Again, I felt like people were ganging up on Jen over some dumb stuff that was from last season, and really, it makes sense when you look at it in context because, of course, I mean, the fact that it was Shawnee's ex is kind of collateral damage. It wasn't even meant to get out like that. Her intent was not to hurt Shawnee the same way, allegedly, Tammy's intent was not to hurt Shawnee by keeping it from her and then bringing it up a year later, or however long. Um, and she and Evelyn were not getting along. She rightfully had a real problem with Evelyn because Evelyn, like, physically threatened her and just, like, made her miserable and talked about her and all kinds of things when Jen didn't do anything to Evelyn. So, yeah, all of that seems to keep getting left out of this equation. But anyway, Evelyn was dead wrong for bringing up her mother and then storming out and all that stuff. And, like, at this point, I'm like, are they just, like, acting or something? Because, like, this is ridiculous. Or is Evelyn that bad? So Evelyn's friend, I forgot to mention the new girl, Evelyn's friend from New York. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah, she's fine. At this point, I don't know that maybe she's just, like, being slowly introduced, but I don't think she adds a whole lot to the show, like, no shade or whatever, but she's cute. She, introduces that she's from back home. I think maybe they're, like, slowly building up to, like, the part she'll play in this season, I guess. But I mean, it's fine. Evelyn has, like, a new sidekick, I guess, or something. I don't know. But yeah, Jackie being the voice of reason, I like it. It's a little weird. It's like we just forgot about everything Jackie's done, and now Evelyn is friends with her, and blah blah blah. And now Jackie's, like, trying to bring everybody together and being peaceful to a large extent. Um, because, like, yeah, I mean, I think she is kind of, like, a little bit messy too, but yeah, it's interesting. It's a whole interesting dynamic. It seems very scripted. We'll see how this goes. Still Team Jen. Really don't like Cece now. I don't like Kristen either. Like, I tolerated her last season. She didn't bother me too much, but now I just don't like her. But I do believe that Cece is wrong and that Cece is shady and shifty, and I just don't like a person with shifty eyes. Like, yeah. But anyway, so that is episode 2, my quick recap. I'm gonna come back with episode 3, hopefully before episode 4 airs. We'll see. Obviously, I'm not terribly excited about this show, but it's interesting and kind of worth talking about when you look at, like, how far the series has come and how, to me, like, fake and scripted, extra fake and scripted this season seems. Anyhow, that's all for now. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and be well. Bye.